Your Karen's innocent, only fan is outraged till the end.
Hey shorties, oh my god. Hi. We have had somewhat of a dilemma behind the scenes here. As you can see, I'm not on my normal laptop. Nothing's changed with the dogs though. So hi. Sorry if I stopped OnlyFan in the middle of the start of OnlyFan. I turned off my speaker and I think it stopped the song. So we had to start again. Anyway, hi. I don't even know. We had two options. Do we still go live? Yes. Or do we not go live? No. So here we are. So you get to see a whole different wild perspective. Sorry about the microphone. It's just my iPhone mic. Can't hook my normal mic up to things. So hi, welcome to the Pleasure Dome, really. So just had a little bit of a moment at the end of Uncivil Law Kurt's live stream with Mark Betterow, which SideBah, Miss Shorty was sandwiched in between Dr. Turtleboy and Mr. Betterow Esquire in terms of guests on Uncivil Law. So, but you know, there was 4.1 thousand people watching / listening to OnlyFans. I started crying, like, oh my god! At once, it was like I was at my own little Miss Shorty music dance party. So that was pretty cool. And so thank you so much to Kurt from Uncivil Law for having me on the show for a little bit of light entertainment in between two serious folk, and for loving and promoting and playing OnlyFans, because that's pretty special to me. So that. Oh my god, you can see my whole background. This is wild. So welcome into any new folks who might have heard about us on Uncivil Law. Camp Shorty is a pretty cool place. We take all this seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We've got a pretty cool thing going on here. So thank you, replay crew. Hi, if you would like to watch the live chat replay on your handheld device, like what I'm streaming from right now, it's back to the early days of Miss Shorty when I streamed from my phone for the first 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. So yikes, call back. But if you'd like to watch the chat on your phone or your tablet or your iPad, all you need to do is swipe left on the comment tab, and it will give you the option to view live chat replay instead. So that, cool. Hi, Nick. So just a few little disclaimers, a few little caveats. I can see the chat, I've got it there, but I was going to have my iPad to chat in the chat, but I don't have any internet. So unless I hotspot off my thing, and oh my God, I didn't even plug my sizer. Hey, I've got to plug my charger in. Yikes. Now my lights are falling over. Hi, we're professionals here. But anyway, I can see you all. I won't be chatting. There'll be no polls tonight because I can't. So I'll plug this in a minute because girl needs to have no phone dying because I will cry. But hi, Princey. Hi, Mods. Hi, Motion to Scream. What the fuck, granted. Who can't do it without you. Literally. Tonight, like without Motion to Scream, what the fuck, granted, there would be no live tonight. There's no way. Carla, thank you so much for gifting a membership. You are amazing. Welcome, new shorties. I really enjoyed in Kurt's chat having the OnlyFans emoji. So we don't have one here, but we have a whole song. So there's that. Now, yes, like a well-oiled machine. Yikes, it's really throwing me here. Also, I did have a little nap for an hour at the end of Betterow and Uncivil Law. So hopefully we can do this mega stream together. I'm sure we can. But thank you so much for being here. Motion to Scream, what the fuck, granted. Hi, Shelly Berry. Replay crew. Oh, lovely. 26 wedding anniversaries. Tell Grumpy Bear we said hi. Mr. now FKR, Grumpy Bear. Love. Happy anniversary to the both of you. That's awesome. Now, take a moment, Shorty. Hate the camera angle. Also, I've got my cute little earrings on from Shanwan, the ones with the Russian girls. So Russian Shorty, love, 10-10. How are you going? Now let's just take a moment. Are we okay? Week 4 of trial. I have thoughts. I have many. But we're going to start at the beginning, right? We're going to start at the beginning of the week. Good morning, Britt. You're up bright and early. Can we even remember what happened? Bukkake on Monday. Nothing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's a lot. Can we do it? Of course we can. Has motion to screen what the fuck granted got the whole thing planned? Yes, she does. Beautiful. So this is SideBah. Week 14, sorry, week 4, day 14. SideBah. Jury, before the jury present. Ooh, I think there. Hi, Buster. Thank you. Love. So not all evidence is admissible, not limitless. Boundaries of reasonableness. Will keep objecting. Bev wants to focus on specific evidence that Bulhenik. Hang on, my phone's having struggles. There it is. Discussion taken to SideBah. So we had a cross with Sergeant, deferential always to Bulhenik. We had cross and cross. Oh, she disappeared. Cross. Yeah, the ring video. Bruising. Okay, now the bruising on Officer John O'Keefe's arm. Where was it that I heard somebody suggest, was it even in our Discord perhaps, that it looked like, which arm? Right arm. Fingerprints, like a grab or a bruise from, it certainly didn't look like a 6,000 pound vehicle, did it? Making those marks. And we all know Lexus don't have no teeth. So, Disney Nerd, hi, good to see you. Crocheting a blanket, I love. Well, you can crochet along. We'll body double with you. Just listen, and then you can always pop in if anything takes your fancy as far as chatting. Okay, I'm gonna plug my phone into charge. So motion to screen, what the fuck granted. Ms. What the fuck? Could you please hit play and then take me off screen for a second so that I can just put a charge on.
I want to shift gears for a second to One Meadows, if I could, and ring video evidence associated with One Meadows. You testified that on direct examination that there was no video from Ring at or around the time 12:36 a.m. When Miss Reed's SUV returned back to One Meadows. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
You did receive a search warrant returned from the Ring Corporation in furtherance of a search warrant executed by Trooper Proctor, correct? Former Trooper Proctor.
Evidence was returned by Ring, yes.
And in addition to the actual video recordings, there was also an activity log that was returned associated with that time and that location from the Ring Corporation, correct?
There was a key log identifying each video
Thank
was
you,
provided
Zelda.
by the time and date when the video was recorded. It's not an activity log per se for the account. It's strictly a key describing the video, telling you what time the video was recorded.
During the entirety of your investigation, was there any evidence uncovered at all that Ms. Reed had accessed the account?
Pause for a second, please, Ms. What the fuck?
No evidence.
So also, because my internet went out in the middle of the week, it's a whole story. I've got it sorted. It should be, I guarantee you it'll be up and running. My Wi-Fi will be up and running by probably as soon as this stream ends, of course. But you all have the pleasure of no ads. If you don't have premium and you normally get ads in the live streams, lucky you, I didn't get a chance to turn on AdSense. So my normal $6 or so of grifting is not going to be in effect. So enjoy no ads for this one, and we shall see. Okay, let's keep going. Ring camera. Okay, Bukkake, whatever.
Evidence could be provided by Ring documenting that activity.
But there is evidence that someone had access to the account through John O'Keefe's cell phone, correct?
I am not aware of that.
Are you aware that after John O'Keefe's cell phone was recovered by Massachusetts State Police, someone at Massachusetts State Police actually opened the Ring app on his cell phone?
Yes.
Who is the person who opened access to the Ring app on John O'Keefe's cell phone?
I'm not 100% sure.
Can you refresh your recollection to take a look at a report, perhaps?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting that they didn't take this further. Disappointing that they didn't take this a lot further, because someone certainly did have access to the Ring app, and it wasn't Karen, was it? Everything, I don't know about you, Chad, is everything blurring into one as far as first trial and second trial? Like now, it's all, this past week is a haze. I had a massive week at work, like a massive week at my peasant work job, and things are starting to meld and blend for me. I don't know. I feel like I mentioned it in my chat with Kurt on Uncivil Law just a couple of hours ago, that I wonder whether Alan Jackson et al., not Bay, Big Alessi Energy, Bay, but the others, I wonder whether they've got a little bit of a lack of clarity, perhaps, in where the line of what they asked about last trial, first trial, and what they are doing on their cross-examinations for this trial, whether that's proving mentally arduous, because I know it is for me as a viewer. Chat, one's in the chat if you feel quite discombobulated and getting that blurring of where the boundaries are between trial 1 and trial 2 and what they're talking about. I mean, there's some clear distinctions, but one's in the chat. And we'll keep going. Thinking is what the fuck.
Tell me that refreshes your recollection. May I approach you on this?
It's tough, Shelley, right? Yeah. Hi, Steph.
Sergeant, having looked at this report, does that refresh your recollection as to who may have accessed that Ring app?
Dougie's no good.
Yes, that report was authored by Michael Proctor, and it says that investigators accessed the Ring application.
Thank you. I want to show you one other document, if I could.
So Hot Coffee Club says, I didn't pay attention to the first trial. I just concentrate on this one. See, a lot of us here, I think that's a great perspective to have, coffee chats, because it's tough. Like, not only did I watch every day of trial 1 twice, and then all the recaps, I also then covered almost all the witness testimonies, every weekend. Basically, we did a whole, and if you're interested, we did a whole We Need to Talk series. There's a playlist on my channel that's called We Need to Talk, and basically, I think we started with Kerry Roberts as the first witness who wasn't cross-examined last time. Kerry Roberts, Nicole Albert, Brian Higgins, Michael Proctor. Who else? Like Julie Albert, Lieutenant Gallagher, any possible, Jennifer McCabe, obviously. Matt McCabe. We covered every single witness in one, two, or even sometimes 3 episodes. I think maybe Jennifer McCabe was 3, and dissected every word they said ad nauseum. And watched every body language thing, every pull on the thing, every cheeks getting flushed, sweat dripping down the side of their faces. It's really hard to differentiate for me personally, and I think it's for a lot of people. Hard to pass it out. Hey, Beezer, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Norfolk County, yes, it is concerning. I mean, it's easy for me on the other side of the world, really, to have an opinion, but you all are living in it. That's horrifying. Must be. How can you feel safe? How can you feel safe that your life and liberty isn't at risk? Wait, can you get what the fuck? Can you put that comment up about the dog bite on John's arm, please? Let me see if I can find it. Yes, factual lie, not Yuriy Bulhenik related, but did anyone notice the pic of John O'Keefe's, Officer John O'Keefe, was called arm with dog bite? Was it? Was it? No. So the file up on the screen said arm with dog bite. In the defences pulling that up on the screen, or that's Hanky Brennan? Interesting. Interesting. Good spot. I love it. I mean, I don't love the defense. Yeah, so the defense probably filed, that's subliminal stuff. The defense filing, saving things as such. Low key amazing, says Micah. Interesting. I think there's that's intentional by the defense to, the jury might not have noticed that as you did. Maybe one or two of them did, but it seeps in. That stuff seeps in, right? So, and if you're just joining, thank you for coming by and joining us on this mega recap. Please excuse my weird vertical framing and my terrible, I presume it's average sound on my mic. I am having internet problems, no Wi-Fi, so we're doing this off the mobile phone, off the iPhone with gorgeous motion to screen what the fuck granted, doing all of the tech stuff on my behalf. It was either that or cancel the stream. So thank you so much, and make sure you hit the like, subscribe. Come on now, you can always unsubscribe. What? Never. All right, Bukkake, let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
I've just handed you what purports to be the search warrant return for the ring from the ring company, correct?
I got to take a look through all of it.
Of course. Take your time.
I can't see. Let me bring this closer. Terrible.
Thank you, Sergeant. Have you had an opportunity to review that document?
I have.
Donkey's not gonna
In
ride.
addition to several other files, there is a login session report that was produced by the Ring Corporation as well. It's highlighted on that page.
Number 4 is highlighted with one Excel file containing login session information.
Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. And again, just to make sure I'm very clear about this, nothing from the Ring Corporation suggested or intimated that Ms. Reed actually accessed any of that Ring account information, correct?
The information provided did not indicate that, no.
Thank you.
No shit, mate. Wonder who did. Michael
about your
Proctor.
testimony on
Mr.
direct
Proctor.
examination related to your parallel.
Now,
You saw
while I think of it, I didn't write it down yet, but Carla, thank you for your gift of membership. I know we said thank you before, but as always, all gifted memberships, new memberships, buy me a coffee, super chats, super stickers. Is there anything else? Oh, PayPal and Cash App get you in the draw for a Miss Shorty merch t-shirt top. So Carla, we won't do a draw tonight. We'll do it next weekend because still scarce pickings. But Carla, you're in the draw, and so that, and all proceeds from the merch. Sometimes from the merch. I just saw. Thank you, Rachel. All proceeds from the merch store of just the Miss Shorty merch go to paying our beautiful moderators. Although this month we're going to make a donation instead to charity, then because they were slim pickings. All free Karen Reed merch. I think there's a Grave Concerns t-shirt and a Rehome the McAlberts t-shirt, or line. There's a line of both of those. So those proceeds from that one go to Karen's Defense Fund. So that. Trigger warning, Bukkake alert. That's it. We can do it. We can do it. We thought we were over Bukkake, but here we are. All right.
On his right arm, in addition to the abrasions, the parallel abrasions that you described, correct?
I believe bruising is very similar to abrasion.
Okay, that's my question. Can we, Your Honor, with the court's permission, can we show Exhibit 1? It's already been introduced.
Interesting. Can you pause, please? What the fuck? The trial channel says 1, delayed, distracted, but I find it interesting that everyone's feeling blurry between the two trials. I thought it was just me because I'm not consuming the trial the same way as I did the first. Yes, you are, because you're editing and SideBah. If you're not already, you need to be subscribed to the trial channel. fastest growing channel on YouTube, and with every reason to be that way. And thank you for allowing us to use your content, Ms. Trial channel. Bravo. Amazing. Time-stamped. Every witness is its own video in chronological order in a playlist. No defluffed of all the pauses, the breaks while they're reading through documents and shit. So it's the best. If you're not already, go and subscribe. But yes, so I'm consuming it very similarly. I think for me, the only difference is, whereas before I was purely watching and consuming, this time I'm watching, consuming, and trying to keep my head around. It's like homework for me a little bit. So I'm not sure whether that's adding load to my brain. Highly possible. But yeah, it's same but different, right? Which makes you feel a little bit discombobulated, I guess is the best word. Blurry and discombobulated is probably the best way I can think to describe it. So yeah, interesting to hear what else other people's thoughts are in the chat. Hi Lee, good to see you. All right, let's keep going.
Depiction of what you saw in terms of the condition of Mr. O'Keefe's arm while at the hospital is not exactly like this.
Yes, it is.
Okay. What did you mean when you said you saw bruising on his arm? What were you talking about?
I actually indicated bruising on his right hand.
Oh yes, there it is.
Okay, fair enough. From his.
But also up the top there's bruising. I hadn't ever really noticed that before. I'm always focused on the scratches and the bites of the Lexus of Cora. Yeah, there we go, up the top there. Interesting. That's not lividity at all, and it's not.
When I say arm, and we at least for this purpose for the purposes of this discussion, I mean from the wrist up to the shoulder. Did you see any bruising from the wrist to his shoulder?
I saw exactly what's depicted there with the abrasions and lacerations.
Okay. You know what lividity is, correct?
I do.
Okay. Describe for the jurors what lividity is.
Lividity is the pooling of blood inside the body as a
Agreed,
deceased individual falls or is positioned naturally with gravity. Blood begins to settle in the lowest portions of the body. If you're laying face down, it'd be your face. It also contours to the imprint or the force that's exerted on the body from below. If someone's deceased on TV remote control, you can see the remote control, the buttons underneath from the pressure.
So it's a bluish, purplish discoloration of the skin, not from an impact, but from the pooling of blood after the heart stops, correct?
That's correct.
You see an area at the upper arm that the skin looks discolored. In
Hi,
addition
Catherine,
to the
good to see
abrasions that
you.
you see.
I'm sorry, I was looking at that one.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yes. Right up toward the upper biceps, triceps.
Which
area.
Brady list though?
I see that.
Because who was it? I think somebody. I think it was Andrea Burkhart. Someone said that about Bukkake that he's on the Brady list, but perhaps it was anyway one of the LawTubers. And there, I don't know, like there could be a list, but if it's not officially sanctioned, like so do we have clarification on if it's an official Brady list? In which case I'm not sure whether it's like an official. If it's not an official Brady list, that I mean, he's on all of our Brady lists, right, motherfucker? Puppy, hi. The Brady list is just, yes, exactly, colors, exactly. So unless it's, because you can be an attorney who, once you're sanctioned for Brady violations, and I guess and law enforcement, that there is an official one, but I don't know how official that one is. So, ooh, 69 watching, boom. Drop it in the chat if you've got a 69 emotes. Buster, Poppy, goodness gracious. Okay, let's get going.
Rather than bruising.
I would not agree with that, no.
You believe that that's bruised?
I believe that that's a laceration.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the discoloration of the skin, the reddish purplish hue of the skin, separate and apart from the abrasion, from the abrasions or lacerations to the skin. The discoloration. Do you see that discoloration or no?
I do not know.
You do not?
I do not know.
Okay,
What?
let me take that down.
What?
As you sit here
He doesn't
today,
see it.
you're not
Okay,
suggesting
Sarah,
that
your eyes
you
painted
saw
on.
bruising from the wrist to the shoulder on John O'Keefe's arm.
Hi, Holly.
Nothing that stood out to me. I observed lacerations and abrasions.
All right, thank you. I want to shift gears one more time and ask you about your trip to Dayton and the seizure of
Dayton. I love watching old closed captions come up with spelling of things. Kimberly, how's your storm going there? Is your weather all good? Also, Steph, how about you? You guys have had some wild weather over there. Buster. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Motion to Scream. What the fuck, Granda, for being my everything. I am literally just the puppet face today. Poppy, for goodness sake. Poppy's the same as always. She's wild girl. Okay, so Buster. Oh my goodness, you guys. Let me see what I got. Still a little crazy, says Steph. Can I do that? Oh, look, I can put comments on screen. That's kind of cool. Who knew? Excuse me, I'm going to dripping nose. It's all happening here. Still a little crazy. Okay. Buster. Oh my God, you two. These dogs. It's lucky they're cute. Wild and woolly animals. Also, weather and animals. Storm gone. Retriever. Wait. Retriever's still under the bed, though. Oh, goodness. Poor doggo. Oh, it's all happening. All right. So, hey, Steve, good to see you. Don't mind me looking a little bit weird camera angle, vertical screen, no Wi-Fi. I love everything about it. It's fantastic, not even stressful or overwhelming. Hey, good point. While I think of it, thank you. I think that was Quincy, no doubt. If you hit the flying heart next to the chat bar, that little heart there, or any of the emotes, it sends a message to YouTube that you're enjoying this hectic, off-kilter live stream. And it's a bit like hitting the like, but on a continuous continuous thing. So it sends a message to the algorithm that you're enjoying it. So share the love, share the stream out that way. Lovely. All right, let's keep going, Ms. What the fuck?
SUV. You testified that you seized the SUV somewhere. I think your testimony on direct examination was somewhere around 4:15, 4:17, something like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Does 4:12 sound like it could be a reasonable time that SUV is actually seized in Massachusetts State Police custody?
It could be reasonable. I'd have to refer to the video evidence that, and then also the exact time that we advised the defendant that we are going to be seizing it. I guess it could be argued that that's when it was seized. We had the intent to seize it right there.
Right. Took the key fob, went outside, had a tow truck driver actually put it onto the back of a flatbed. Ultimately, it was transported. Correct.
So many questions about that. Why didn't? I mean, I think I've heard it spoken about everywhere, including here. No photos by the tow truck driver just to document the condition of the Lexus. Seems suspicious, right? Seems suspicious. Yeah, it was snowing, but still cover your ass, right? And no, if there had been a proper investigation with proper chain of custody, proper documentation of evidence, yada yada yada, maybe the Commonwealth would have a case, but they just don't. All right, let's keep going.
Just referenced it. Video evidence of that. I'm going to call it seizure process. Is that right?
Seizure.
Yes.
And that video evidence had a timestamp on it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're also aware, as the supervisor of Michael Proctor, that he swore under oath in multiple affidavits in support of search warrants that the SUV was seized at 5:30 p.m., correct?
Yes.
Thank you, J.I. That's awesome.
And you knew at the time, because you were actually there, and you knew when the vehicle was seized, that stating under oath in an affidavit that it was 5:30 p.m. and not 4:12 p.m., that was a false statement, correct?
There's a discrepancy in time there, yes.
Did you take any action, you yourself as a supervisor, did you take any action to correct that false or misleading statement? Let me ask it a different way. Did you take any action to correct that time to the accurate time of 4:12 in any of the affidavits that you became aware of?
No, the actual time of the seizure through the video, we learned much later. So the approximate time of 5:30, although inaccurate, I did not take any action to correct it. No.
And you received that video as a production from the defense, you did not have access to that video, correct?
Yes.
And so at the time that Michael Proctor actually wrote or drafted these affidavits and swore to them under oath, he did not know that the video existed, correct?
Objection. Stand, you have to word it differently.
Sure. At the time that you, let me ask it a different way. At the time that you reviewed his declarations under oath, you did
You
not
got it,
know
Cindy.
that it-
No, we did not know.
I want to ask you about something that was brought up on direct examination. Sustained findings as it pertains to you. You've already talked about the fact that, Sergeant, you're a supervisor and we're a supervisor back in January of 2022 moving forward over Trooper Proctor, correct?
Yes.
Generally speaking, as a supervisor, your job is to properly and professionally supervise, show some authority over those in your charge. Is that right?
Yes.
Michael Proctor was, in fact, a trooper in your charge.
Yes.
And you would agree that your supervision has a direct impact on the character and quality of the subordinate investigators that you supervise.
Yes.
The whole point of having supervision and a chain
Exactly,
of command is to
Tori,
establish a certain
exactly.
amount of, for lack of a better phrase, quality control of the subordinates.
Yes.
That would also include quality control over the subordinates' investigations.
Yes.
On August 17th, 2022, you were in a group text with the following individuals: Michael Proctor, Trooper Kukowski, a lieutenant named Fanning.
Is he married?
and a
Is
trooper named
Bukkake married?
DeCicco, D-I-C-I-C-C-O,
I can't imagine
correct?
it.
Yes.
I'm handing you a document. Can you tell me if you recognize that document?
Hi, Arca. Good to see you.
I recognize parts of it.
He's got a ring on. There you go. I
Document.
can't see
Direct
shit.
examination,
He
I
wears
think
a
you've
ring.
shown the document, correct?
Lucky woman.
It was different parts of it, but same. It's inclusive of within this document.
Okay. Let's start with this. You indicated that you did not see Michael Proctor's name on that document, correct?
Ew. Nicholas Ticholas. He might be gay. I don't think so. Let's not start any rumors. Oh my
Correct.
goodness,
His name is
Jules.
not
He's
on here.
married and
But
has
you do
kids. Well,
recognize
that's
that as being
stayed
reflective,
quiet.
accurately
That's good.
reflective of the text chain
Nobody
that you were
doxed
on August
Bukkake.
17th, 2022, that group chat.
Yes, sir.
Micah,
I mean,
really?
do
He
this a
has
little
girls.
backward,
Well,
but
he
bear
should
with
know
me.
better than.
You do see the name Kukowski, correct?
I do.
You do see the name Fanning, correct?
I do.
You do see the name DeCicco, correct?
I do.
And you do see the name Bulhenik, correct?
No, it's misspelled, but I know it probably references me.
Pause.
The
Pause.
only other text or person
I know that he already had an issue with Bukkake being misspelled in, I think it was the text thread. In this one, I don't think it says Bukkake, but one's in the chat if you think that in that text thread that he was called Bukkake by his friends, if that's what he was. Remember he had that little interaction with Alan Jackson, and Alan Jackson said, I can't take credit for that one. So I wonder, I think yes. I think it said Bukkake because it was a funny moment, that's for sure. And go.
texting on that chain is a code, a lengthy, almost like a URL code with no name.
Yeah.
correct?
It was too delightful. If you can call Bukkake anything but
Yes.
revolting.
And the only person that I didn't name, whose name that I did not
Hi,
name,
Detective Mullins. Good to see you.
correct?
Correct.
So deductive
Probably
reasoning tells you
please.
that is the code is Michael Proctor. Is that right?
I would agree with you. Yes.
Okay. In that text chain,
Yes, exactly, Tony. Exactly.
photograph, correct?
I can't call. I
No.
struggle.
The yeah, coach.
Yes.
Hi, Greta. Good to see you.
Do you see a photograph there?
Yes, I
Ew.
do.
Opal Gypsy. Ew.
Fair enough. There were some texts between and among the group that preceded this photograph, correct?
Yes.
I want to start on
The
this
dogs
date,
are
August
choking
17,
on their
2022,
excitement of it
this
all.
photograph.
It's
This
all
photograph
happening.
was sent by Trooper DeCicco to the group, correct?
Yikes.
Possibly appears that way. I really can't. I mean,
Your Honor, with your
Yes.
permission, I'm not sure this document has been marked. I'd like to have this marked and
Sure,
admitted.
we'll mark it for ID.
It is, isn't it, Nick? Are you
I'd
sure
actually
it's not
have
his
it marked
normal
and
name?
admitted.
Come
There's
on
some
now.
things I'd like to show.
It's a
It's
very noble name to
No
have.
objection to admission, but not in
Very
response to
fun.
the napkin.
Messy.
Can you do it?
I can, what I intend to do, I can do with one photograph. If I may have a moment, counsel.
Okay.
So we're talking about the same thing, Sergeant. I've just handed you a page that's been marked Exhibit 116. Do you recognize that as being a copy of one of the multiple pages in the document that you're holding that's been marked for identification as FF?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if we could publish that single page, please.
Okay.
Is that a photograph that was sent by Trooper DeChico to the group?
Sorry, I'm having
According to the
issues.
document.
My phone isn't charging. So chat, we're hanging on to 20%. It could be one of the most epically nightmarish streams ever, but we're going to go until the wheels fall off, chat. I've turned my brightness down, so hopefully that will save it. I've got it on the charge, but StreamYard's pulling all the charge and all my patience at the moment. So that. Oh, and I come back to see Misty
Yes.
and Eddie. Lovely man.
Who is depicted in that photograph?
The big story, Mr. David Yannetti, criminal defense attorney.
Do you see that person in court?
Yes, I do.
Where is he seated? What is he wearing?
He's seated right there wearing a blue tie
All right,
and a
Candy.
dark suit, white shirt.
Thank
We're
you. You can bring the
professionals
lights up,
here.
Your Honor. In response to, and going back to the multi-page document FF, in response to Trooper DeChico's photograph that he sent to the group, you responded to that photograph, did you not?
Good.
Yes, this document indicates so, yes.
And you responded by laughing at it, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Well, that's what it says, or that's what you did.
I
don't remember.
Not even stressful,
Trooper Proctor
chat.
then, former Trooper Proctor, Michael Proctor, then responded, correct?
That's what it says here, yes.
And he responded to the group, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone, correct?
Oh,
That's what it says, yes.
Michael Proctor then responded again. Is that right?
Yes.
thank you, Simi.
He wrote,
We
no
will.
nudes so far.
We ain't got no quit.
That's what it says. Yes.
My battery might, but we know we
Michael
ain't
Proctor
got no
responded
quit.
yet again. Is that right?
That's correct.
And in reference to Mr. Yannetti's photograph, he wrote, I hate that man. I truly
Really
hate
hate
him.
him.
Correct?
That's what it says.
There's a trooper by the name of
That's
Moore,
what it says.
M-O-R-E, correct?
Immortalized and memorialized till
disliked-
time forevermore.
Trooper Proctor's phrase. his
Well,
statement,
thank you, Special
no
Bendy Bras.
correct?
Honestly, things are normally a little more profession streamlined around here. I mean, marginally. Today's an anomaly. Today here in Australia. It is what it is. We come back next weekend when hopefully all is back well and normal as we can be in Camp Shorty. Like I said, we'll go till the wheels fall off. I'll let you know when I'm getting down to 3%, and we'll wrap it. We'll make sure we play SideBah before it ends. I will be so sad that all of Motion to Scream What the Fuck Grandad's hard work planning this is going to go by the wayside because of unforeseen nightmare circumstances. Anyway, let's keep going. Wheels rolling.
Did that indicate to you that Moore was disappointed that Trooper Proctor, Michael Proctor, had not found naked pictures of Miss Reed as yet?
I don't know what that indicated for Mr. Moore.
And then you responded to the phrase, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone, correct?
I acknowledged that text message being sent.
You acknowledged it by liking it, correct? With a thumbs up.
I acknowledged it by responding with a thumbs
Okay,
up emoji.
pause.
Fact is,
Chat. I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't. I'm so verging on boomer. It isn't funny. So I presume though that I presume you can change the font size. Can you, the text size on your Apple Watch? I presume that. If you're somebody's supervisor and they're sending you a message about the case and you're waiting with bated breath to know what's happening with the phone, that you're going to be able to see what's being written there. And maybe he's just a terrible supervisor, perhaps. Highly likely. It seems that way. CEG, the performance review, whatever. But how easy is it to read a message on your Apple Watch and then hit like? And also SideBah, I'm going to be going with a heart, not a like, because the thumbs up is passive aggressive in my opinion. But maybe if you're Bukkake, it's just a thumbs up. What do you think, chat? It seems weird to me. I mean, right, the trial channel acknowledge the stream with a thumbs up. That's not passive aggressive. That's all in supportive. Love, 10-10. Good call. Yes, Colours Flight. He didn't seem to be supervising.
Told you his
Yikes.
supervisor
But also,
in this series of
what
text
the fuck should we maybe, given that we're still on 19%, we should, yikes. Should we finish off Bukkake and move on to, I don't know, maybe you can choose where, but I'm just mindful of wanting to get as much of the week recapped before my phone dies. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I've already cried once today, but it was with joy at Kurt from Uncivil Law and 4,000 people listening to OnlyFan as my song OnlyFan. That was a pretty special moment. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can choose what the fuck. So, because we had those two crime scene guys. I think they were fine. We had Maureen Hartnett. We had obviously Dr. Scordi Bello. But you choose, ma'am. That song is a banger. Thank you so much, Tony. I kind of love it. I always have at least one of my songs playing on one track in my brain, thoughts in another, memories in another, considering Karen Reid in another. It's pretty hectic in my brain, but yeah, it's a good one. Thank you so much.
Argue that it was either / both intentional or negligent. I immediately jumped to, oh, you don't actually know what happened. And that's where I talked about yesterday, the Aruba stuff. The Aruba stuff to me could be a very big swing and miss.
Rachel, my phone is charging. My
The-
phone is charging at the moment, but it's sapping too much. Like it's just too much grunt required for StreamYard. It's charging at the moment. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We're making the best out of an average situation. So thank you. Yes, Peter Tragos, let's go. Love the lawyer, you know. He's pretty cool.
Niece, KF, testifying. They didn't call the nephew this time like they did last time. And there are no cameras in the courtroom, which I think is completely appropriate. I am going to pull up. First, we're going to start with Ted Daniel. He was in the courtroom, and he summarized her testimony. So first, we're going to look at this. If you can't read it, don't worry. I'm going to read his and Christina Rex's. So the niece testified that Karen Reid and John O'Keefe's relationship deteriorated after the New Year's Aruba trip. I remember hearing him say the relationship wasn't good, but it had run its course. Was good, but it had run its course. She was very upset by it. She was yelling louder than JJ. She said Karen Reid woke her up at 4:30 on 129. Defendant came into my room.
Pause for a second, please. What the fuck?
She was very frantic. The defendant was asking what could have happened.
So as far as yelling louder, now I don't know. A lot of you shorties come into my psychology corner live streams. At the moment, we're just all in free Karen Reid. We're doing Karen Reid recaps every week until the trial, until she's acquitted. Fingers crossed. But we do spend a good portion of our time here when Karen Reid isn't fighting for her life and liberty in Massachusetts, talking about all things psychology. Now that comment by the niece, by Kaylee, and then obviously Peter talking about it here, caught my attention. So we've already established it's pretty universally agreed that John, may he rest in peace, wasn't necessarily the most kind, loving, or warm boyfriend, partner, particularly at that end of their relationship, wherever it was going. He seemed to be someone who withheld his warmth and lovingness from Karen, and however that dynamic got there, whatever. It was a pretty toxic kind of dynamic, right? So often what happens with toxic people is when you get to an argument point, raised voices, often one person who is the toxic person will maintain their composure, knowing full and their vocal level, knowing full well that the other person's tendency, proclivity is to become, I would be the person with my voice getting more excitable and raised. And while it might sound to an outsider or someone listening in that the person with the raised voice is the one who's being erratic and unreasonable and inciting the argument, often it's the quiet, unreasonable one that is sort of provoking that by way of their, like if they're not responding, if John wasn't responding, if John was refusing to actually have the difficult conversation about whatever happened in Aruba, suspicious. I think he probably did kiss one of the Marietta Sullivan, but whatever. We probably won't ever know. If he's refusing to talk about it for whatever reason, maybe because he knows full well that he was a dick there and a dick to Karen, and Karen's getting more and more frustrated, and her voice is elevating. She's starting to be louder and louder because she's frustrated. Doesn't that make sense to you? That doesn't mean that she was the crazy one or the unreasonable one in the relationship, but the one who is getting more and more frustrated because John, one can assume, speculating that John wasn't communicating with her. That would be frustrating, right? I know I'd be like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck? And you know, if the relationship was running its course and had John lived, I think they probably would have been done with the relationship within a couple of months at best. I think Karen was extricating herself from that relationship, even if just emotionally, mentally herself. And so I can see how that might have been, that Karen was raising her voice. Doesn't indicate that she's the one who's going to mow him down with her vehicle. Please. Just my thoughts. Hi, Kurt. Good to see you. Thank you for having me on your channel. Kurt, I had a very amazing moment at the end of your stream tonight with Mark Betterow. Great stream. Great conversation. When 4,000 people were listening to OnlyFan, I was like, oh my God, I'm at the dance party with my own music playing and there's 4,000 people jamming along to it. So thank you so much. That was a really special moment. Really special moment. Anyway, let's go back to the video, Ms. What the Fuck. Thank you so much for letting me have my thoughts on that, because it was noteworthy to me. Poor Karen being painted as this erratic, unreasonable shrew when psychologically, I can see a different reason for that dynamic in those fights. If John's refusing to fight, converse, discuss, talk about difficult things, because that seems to be what the pattern was, and Karen just wants to talk and he's withholding, of course she's going to start getting louder because fuck. Anyway.
Asking could I have done something, got hit by a plow. Later the same day at One Meadows, Karen Reed just said to myself and my grandfather that she thought she was living in a nightmare.
Natasha.
On Cross,
Frustrating,
Yannetti,
man. Just call it.
Denise told David Yannetti that Karen Reed watched her play sports, took her to visit private school, helped her plan her birthday in 2021. Yannetti said, did Karen would help you with school projects? Denise said, a couple of them, maybe, yeah. And then Clark got on the stand. And then I also want to look at a little more detailed version of this is Christina Rex. You can't see that. Let me get my head out of the way here. Denise testifies, it was kind of dependent on the day. Some days were more on good standards than other days weren't on good standards at all. She would like favor my brother. She would not ignore me, but it felt like coldness. They were pretty close. The brother and Reed, maybe that's why they didn't call him this time. Lighthearted in the beginning, changed by the end.
Also, remember, Karen's also going through her own medical issues, you know, and trying to process whatever's happening with their relationship. Of course, there's going to be days when Karen wasn't feeling so bright and bubbly. We're all human. Karen's human. We all feel. There's some days when we're more willing and able to be everything for everyone, and there's other times you're like, I want to and I can't. And I honestly, I feel a little bit like Karen and I are quite similar in many respects. She's far more accomplished than I am, but personality wise, I see a lot of similarities, and there's days when I know I should be more chirpy and I just can't. And I'm not even in excuse me, I'm not even in a relationship, praise the Lord, and certainly not a toxic relationship. It's just me trying to do life with relatively good health. So so that makes sense to me too. And it's coming through the lens though of what was she then? 14 was Kaylee, yes. And her memories have been skewed, no doubt, by outside influences of Peggy O'Keefe and whoever else. So anyway, carry on. Thank you. Yeah, it could be special brandy bras. I love your handle. Do you have actual special brandy bras? They sound comfy, whatever that is.
21, beginning of 22. Was the brother one of the witnesses that was reluctant to testify? I don't know. They were fighting a lot. When I saw the fights, it was normally at my house or on the phone. When they would fight, Karen Reed was very like angry and upset, louder than O'Keefe. Aruba incident. So they're already starting to get into it, which would make me think Judge Cannoni is going to allow testimony on the
Just gonna
Aruba
let the
incident.
dogs out.
Reed and
BRB.
O'Keefe had an argument in the niece and nephew's hotel room. O'Keefe checked on them and told the nephew to get off the iPad. Reed defended. O'Keefe checked on them and told the nephew to get off the iPad. Reed defended the nephew, started yelling about like how he had kissed someone else and she had witnessed it. It was really loud. She was very upset. The relationship changed after Aruba, January of 22. O'Keefe and Reed in the kitchen fighting while the niece was in the room next door. Their relationship was good, but it had run its course. Don't remember exactly what she said, but she was upset by it. He asked her to leave the house. She did not want to leave the house. O'Keefe saw the niece in the other room and got angry that she witnessed the fight, asked Reed more aggressively to leave, then went upstairs to the bedroom. Reed followed him upstairs, banged on the door.
Yes,
In later days and
Akasha,
weeks, I
good
could tell.
point. Given that they'd had that fight about the kids, and Karen was probably torn between behaving or treating the kids the way John wanted her to, very, very sort of puritanical way of interacting with children and treating children. And so she was probably, I mean, there's so many contributing factors to why Karen might have been pulling away. Perhaps if Karen knew that she was considering, I mean, it seems pretty clear she was probably considering the future with John being non-existent, really, that she was probably starting to try and pull back a little bit emotionally from those kids as well, too, to for their sake and for hers. I mean, I think she probably loved those children, and just such a messy situation. Yeah.
There was tension. They were cold towards each other.
Very sad.
A couple of times a week, tension and arguing. I heard the defendant on the phone, and she was saying that me and my brother were really worried. On one occasion, when she was trying to get John O'Keefe to come home, when he had left the house for a drive, and he said she wasn't actually worried. Then the night of his death, she had a rule that she had to charge her phone in O'Keefe's room at bedtime. After her friend left before midnight, she was home alone and put her phone in O'Keefe's room, went to bed. Reed came into her room at 4:30, shaking her, told me my uncle never came home. She was frantic. Reed asked the niece to use her cell phone to call O'Keefe. No answer. Reed asked for phone numbers she didn't have, including McCabe. Niece remembers things Karen said on the phone, but not necessarily to whom, because there were several calls like, what could have happened? Could I have done something? Could he have been hit by a snowplow? Here, her memory had to be refreshed with prior.
A dick who didn't deserve to be murdered, but a dick nevertheless. Not my idea of a nice man.
Maybe
rest in peace, John O'Keefe. No one deserves to be murdered, but fuck. Yeah.
I like hidden. Interesting that she wouldn't say that on her own, but she had to have her memory refreshed. That's interesting. The niece says that she had never seen Reed like this. Reed came back to the house with Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts. Jen checked on the niece and was level-headed, not frantic, not like she had just conspired to do something. Karen did not interact with the niece. At this point, niece was very nervous, she says. Karen Reed came back later that morning after the hospital with her dad and brother. She said to me and my grandfather that she felt like she was living a nightmare. And then on cross, okay, because we're going to talk about crossing witnesses like this. Yannetti asked, when Karen Reed spent all this time with you, you didn't call her the defendant, right? No, the niece says. You called her Karen. Yes. Things Karen Reed would do with the niece. By the way, he's trying to say, like, now they've gotten you against her, but there was a time you loved Karen Reed. Things Karen Reed would do with the niece: nails done once a month, hair done at the salon. Reed attended basketball games, possibly, but so did my uncle. Soccer, softball, yes. Help straighten niece's hair maybe once a week. Planned birthday party, 2020 scavenger hunt, yes. You would stay with Karen at her house in Mansfield, yes. Then Yannetti got to Aruba. Reed took the kids for an Italian dinner and ice cream. Niece doesn't remember. O'Keefe was in the room with you the whole night with Karen Reed and the nephew. Yannetti asked. Exactly, she doesn't remember. Sheila. She just remembers after the fight that he fell asleep in niece's bed for a few hours.
Pause then, JJ, though. Sheila says, how clear is your head when you are frantic? Exactly. Which makes me wonder, that last clip, that was it the last one that Hank played about Karen, and we can talk about this. I do want to talk about it before my phone dies. We're on 15%, by the way, 15. When Karen says she pulled out the sliver of glass, and Salty Sleuth Investigates messaged me and asked me about that, because Salty's newish just this trial. She didn't watch any of the first trial, and asked me about that. So here's my questions or my ideas about that little clip. Firstly, fuck off, Hank. But secondly, so does a human who is near frozen, not hypothermic, but very close to being, he's been out in the cold. I think he was probably already dead, right? That's the general consensus. Does a body that's been out, or a person who's been out in the cold for 6 hours, close to death, have blood gushing? I don't think so. I don't know how that clip helped the Commonwealth. It did clarify for me in chat. What do you think? It did clarify for me that that perhaps at least one of the cuts on John's face, so this one, wherever it was, not the ones around his eye, but that one on the nose might have been not from the assault on John, but then also I wondered about how Karen remembers that from that moment, those moments in that morning on the 29th of January. How does she remember that? And then I thought, I'm just walking you through my whole thought process. And then I thought, well, perhaps she has little sort of compartmentalized memories, and that's one of them of that time. So with trauma, you lose a lot of stuff, but then some things are hyper focused, and you have very clear memories of that stuff. So exactly factual. Dead people don't bleed, and particularly when she said gushing, I hope the jury is paying attention to those clips, not just on their face, not just ostensible that perhaps Karen, the clips he selected of, I mean, I love Karen. I think she's amazing. But I hope the jury isn't being swayed by the sort of the broad strokes of it all and are paying attention to the content of those clips. Yes, it's exactly, Simi. Why would he? But if Karen says it, I presume it's something that happened, whether or not her memory, that's a pretty vivid memory, right? Hasn't conflated that. And Salty Sleuth was, I think Salty thought it was tail-like glass, and maybe that's the inference that Hank Brennan is hoping for there. To my mind, it sounds more like cocktail glass, rocks glass, the drinking glass, right? How that got there? Because if he was glassed in that fight, he would have had a slashed up face. It's all very mysterious. We have more questions than answers. Very frustrating. Anyway, carry on. What the fuck? We're on 14% battery. Fuck my life.
So John's laying there, his left and his right, and I approach John from the left. That's where the street is. And he had a piece of glass, like perched on his nose, like just wedged like a splinter would be. And I just pulled it. And as soon as I pulled it, it just gushed blood down his face.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That, I mean,
Not there for very long.
We can have the item.
John wasn't out there for very long if he's still actively bleeding. He's actively bleeding. His heart is pumping.
He's still out of unit.
good point. Who's that? Is that Micah? No. Akasha? No, I can't see. My phone's on so dim I can't see. But I wonder whether, because we've speculated as to why. I mean, why didn't Brian and Nicole come out of the house? I wonder if Brian or the other Brian had some glass in their hands. I mean, we've speculated about Brian Albert's shoulder needing surgery not long after. Why he didn't go to the funeral? Sus. Well, so many things we'll never know. This is why it's infuriating, right, chat? Like, more questions than answers with all this new stuff. Wild. I can't see that, but I'm sure it looks amazing and reads amazingly. Yes, Micah, some of these clips they're cut off mid-sentence. So the jury has to be picking up on that. Like, obviously, they're not complete statements. They're taken completely out of context. I don't think it's landing the way Hank hopes. I had a thought this morning, whatever the time it was, sometime in the last 12 hours, and I did tweet it, that I wonder, it was based on Bev's admonishment or instructions to the jury to remain stoic and to just leave all of their emotions at the door and just be a set of ears perched on a human body and just listen. So we've spoken about it before, but if there was any indication amongst the sort of surveying of the jury and selecting of the jury, but just general surveying before the trial, first and then second, that there was a leaning towards like a regionalized leaning towards guilt amongst potential jurors, or the out of the whole pool of the community, people available to be called to serve on the jury, the defense team would have put a motion to relocate the trial, to hold the trial in a different county. They didn't do that. So that suggests, one would think, it infers that there is not that level of preconception of the potential jurors. Now, when they chose the jury, it happened relatively quickly for this trial. And I'm wondering whether, given the pervasiveness, the indications were that there was generally impossible to find anybody to put on the jury, to seat on the jury, who hadn't heard something about this whole sham. I'm just wondering whether the jury selected based on just the media sort of super saturation and stuff and general community conversation, whether they can see what we're seeing, this jury. There is hope there. It could be, because the defense team would have requested a change of venue. We've heard in wherever on the medias that that basically everybody had some understanding of this case and this trial. I think there's hope there. And then the way Hank Brennan is putting all this propaganda bullshit, these clips. It's not a variety show, Hank. It's not a variety show. It just seems to me that it could well be falling flat, and we haven't even got to the defense's case in chief. So I swing between oh my god and no. Whew. Calm breaths. All right. Yeah, free Karen Reid, right, Catherine? I think they can see through it. That admonishment from the jury, to the jury by Auntie Bev, vile woman, suggests to me that there is some reaction from the jurors, and we don't know about what and to whom. Could be that they're reacting to the defense, and I don't know. Those guys are so charismatic. Yeah, I can't deal with Hank Brennan. He's vile. I mostly listen. I don't often watch. When I do watch, I'm like, oh my God, he's even worse when you're looking at Hank Brennan, not just listening to him. Yikes. I also listen and watch everything on 1.75 speed, so 1.5 minimum. So when I'm watching things at regular speed, I'm like, oh my God, how are you all watching this in real time? Thank goodness for the time difference sometimes. All right, let's go with this clip. Let's see what we can do with this battery. 13%. Yikes. We're hanging in there, chat.
All right. Now let's hear what I found to be the worst call in all. That, to me, if I was in trial, that's the answer I probably would have expected. I would have been pissed. I would have been pounding the table, but I probably would have expected the judge to allow that. This, I would not have thought she would allow.
We need to recall them. I'll hear you
Good
on that
point,
as well.
Rose.
So regarding Dr. Welcher, as my understanding, the request yesterday was for, and it's been a request, I think, a few days. We've addressed it at SideBah, and I found that it wasn't the right time. Let's see how much Dr. Welcher could go through. I understand Dr. Welcher will testify.
Let's see how much Dr. Welcher could go through. To leave that open, to be like, that's like me telling Maverick, hey, Maverick, I want you to run 20 laps around our house. But you don't have to do it. Like, we'll see how many laps you've done in 3 days. He's going to say, I've done no laps in 3 days. So it's like, if you tell Dr. Welcher to see how much you can get through, and if you can't get through it, then I'll give some other remedy. It's like, don't get through any of it. Let's see what the other remedy is.
And the Commonwealth's case in chief next week or so, Mr. Brennan.
Hopefully next week, if not
All right.
the day after the
And
holiday.
that will be for all of the material that was provided to the defendant initially, right, by the Commonwealth's discovery deadline?
Correct.
And what you're asking for is that after ARCA testifies the new information, you're asking for rebuttal, right?
Yes, limited to the new information.
All right. So
I want to clarify something here because words are important. New
Words matter.
information.
Words
So
matter.
what he's asking for is for his experts to be able to get up a second time in rebuttal. But if you remember, rebuttal is only to testify about stuff that came out during the defense's case in chief that you have not already addressed in your case in chief to respond to. It is very limited. But she's not saying that. She's not just saying what comes out in the case in the defense's case in chief, because that may be thought of as new information, but it's not. What she means is any of the new testing, new opinions, new information ARCA has put in since they've been retained, and they only had 4 or 5 weeks to do it. They did it, and Welcher has had that information now for a week or something. And again, he's going to have it for another week before he takes the stand, or the Commonwealth can delay calling him or ask for an additional
No, keep going.
week for him to prep. There are other remedies to where he can prepare for this new information that is part of ARCA's reports they're going to testify to in the defense's case in chief, and that's when he should testify to it. To allow him to split his testimony, have more time to prepare, be able to listen to ARCA, and then come back with not just responding to what ARCA said, but also to potentially condemn the way they did certain testing. Why he didn't. Potentially, he could do new testing and more testing to respond to their testing after they've already testified. And if this is confusing, it's because this is not how it should be. This is totally unfair. This is giving them 2 bites at the apple. This should not be allowed. If I was the defense, I'd be like, Judge, give him another week if he needs a week. Give him time to prepare as he needs to. Let him come and do his testimony. And if they're going to have a rebuttal case, let him have a normal rebuttal case, limited like it should be. This would frustrate the crap out of me. This is something that is so unusual, doesn't normally happen, shouldn't normally happen, and is more difficult for lawyers to deal with and respond to when it's not something that normally happens. And you can tell she's going to give him wide leeway on new information. J. Coop, that's how I would deal with it. I would ask for different remedies.
Wild.
I would say this is totally unfair.
Is it been?
But let's
who
hear
has it
how
been? I
she
think
deals with it
Andrew
and
has
what she
been
allows them to
saying. Andrew's been
and what
saying.
you're asking for initially, right, by the Commonwealth's.
Could oh my God, so many LawTubers. I'm watching them all. Let's just say a LawTuber. Maybe it might have even been Peter. Who knows? Just she's being deferential to Bev is not working. Being sort of compromising in the hopes that Bev will, if you compromise a little bit, then maybe Bev will give him a little bit. But Hank Brennan isn't compromising in anything. He's standing firm on the most ludicrous things. The gaslighting of it all is disgusting. It's so maddening. Anybody out there who's experienced narcissistic abuse in their real life might find Hank Brennan's blatant lying. I mean, it's there. We've all seen. It's in court. It's on the record. Things that Hank has said. It's on the YouTube record. We see and hear it all. And he's just lying to our face. And Bev doesn't give a fuck. It's wild. It made me wonder then about Hank being chosen. So I put a little short out about this, and I threw a curveball in to wonder whether Hank is actually, on some level, kind of throwing the case. All that wild shit with the extra pieces in the bag of evidence of the tail light with Maureen Hartnett, and the 34 Fairview shoe, and all of the things. All that is like it's Keystone Cops bullshit, but on a bigger level. It's coming into the courtroom. Come on now, second trial bullshit. That stuff shouldn't be happening. The evidence bags should be all marked. They should have been sealed up. It's just too many things. If it was one little evidence thing or another, maybe. But I'm wondering whether Hank, because I've always said the Commonwealth is going for an acquittal, not a guilty verdict. Then they can go, the jury got it wrong. Oh, well, we tried. And no one is ever prosecuted, right? No one else is ever prosecuted. Legally, it's close to impossible. But then I started thinking about Hank Brennan and the choice of bringing Hank Brennan himself, the person, the man, the snake. Because everybody knows that the attorneys, juries judge, or juries, if they don't like the attorney, it's highly likely that they're going to, back away if they don't like the attorney's methods or their demeanor, the way they question, their voice, if it's annoying, if they have a what if any kind of a thing going on. So I'm wondering why would you bring in Hank Brennan? And I had this conversation with Kurt earlier on Uncivil Law, and he did have a good point that perhaps all of the more favorable special prosecutors that were available said, it's going to be a no for me, like hard pass, not interested. And maybe Hank was the only person who goes, yeah, fuck, let's go. I'll do it. I'll do anything. I'll do anything to be on this case, to get the exposure, because someone like Hank, let's just suggest maybe he's a narcissist. Not diagnosing, but any publicity is good publicity. If they're talking about Hank, he's happy. He doesn't care. So why bring Hank Brennan in, the man? Because he's so unlikable. He's vile. It's we would find him vile if he was on the defense team. I believe there's just nothing appealing about Hank Brennan whatsoever. He's doing some, like, in terms of his direct examinations, I think he's doing pretty well, much better than Lally did, although Lally's improved. But I just thought, food for thought. And we're on 12% battery, so we've got this. Hank has fans. Who just said that? Hank has fans. Yeah, I wonder who they are. A little small composed group
and
of
what you're
antis.
asking for is that after ARCA testifies, the new
Remember, by the way, sorry to interrupt again, because she just mentioned the Commonwealth discovery deadline.
That's
It
all
was
right, Peter. I
impossible
interrupt all the time.
for them to be able to do their work because of the federal government being under contract and not allowing them to hire them, not allowing the defense to hire. I don't like when people say them and he and she. I like to be specific, right? From not allowing the defense to hire the ARCA
Nick
witnesses.
says because Hank is a badass. Yes, but even a badass needs to be likable and liked by the jury to get anywhere. In my opinion, I think you'll find most attorneys, like, we've all watched trials where, like, it's like, yes, great, but even, I mean, Monica Simontelli, I frothed over Beth Silverman, but I mean, there were people that couldn't stand her voice. And if you're on the jury and you're like, oh my God, I can't listen to this woman anymore, 2.5 days of closing arguments, I loved it. But that can be a contributing factor to why and how juries go on vibes. They don't look at all the evidence like we do, and they're getting inundated by, like, document dumps galore and evidence dumps and interesting. I don't know. Food for thought.
Until very late. So it was physically impossible for them to be able to get this stuff done. And now she's holding it against them and giving the Commonwealth additional leeway. It's frustrating.
new information, you're asking for rebuttal, right?
Yes, limited to the new information.
All right, so I would allow under these circumstances a limited rebuttal, and we can define the scope after we hear the testimony of ARCA. So those are my rulings. Your objection?
We can define the scope after we hear from ARCA, which again leaves another item open. I'll tell you what I hate during trial is open items. I hate open items during trial. And that's what she just continues to do. And again, it seems like a maybe that we know is going to land on the Commonwealth side. And it is not unusual. This is not the first judge that would side with the prosecution. I do not think she's in the pocket of the prosecution in this case. And I know that's going to annoy people and whatever. I don't care. People that are like, I want to hear you say somebody is the devil, and I want to hear you say somebody should be crucified for this. It's like, I'm going to tell you what I think and how far I think it goes.
He's done well.
And that's my personality. That's how I do it. Okay. I think this is a horrible decision. I think it is so annoying and so frustrating. I think it is telling that when the defense does something like this, she says, I have grave concerns. This is horrible. I'm going to publicly shame you. And when the Commonwealth does it,
we have grave concerns.
I'm going to give you more time. I think it's completely understandable why this happened. And the defense, I'm going to allow a robust cross-examination. Absolutely, that's telling. I think she personally likes Lally and Brennan more than the defense attorneys. If she has a personal bias of how she just agrees with or appreciates or whatever, yes, I would say I feel that, especially in the things she says that are not legally relevant. But do I think that she is going to do things unethically on purpose that she knows are wrong and knows are going to get overturned on appeal? No, I do not think that that is necessarily what's happening. Do I think that she cares to try and see it both ways? No. Do I think that she's been a good judge throughout this case? No. Would I want to try a case in front of her? No.
No.
Absolutely not. I don't care that she was a public defender. I do not want to try a case in front of her. I do not think that she has given them the proper fair shake. I really don't. I would be incredibly annoyed. I'd be calling appellate counsel. Can you believe what this judge is doing? If I was in her courtroom, I would not be a happy camper. With the Commonwealth's expert getting to rebut the defense's rebuttal.
I love that he's come off the
rebut the Commonwealth's rebuttal to the defense's first rebuttal. They don't know what we know.
Yeah,
they know. We know. So it seems like the answer to that is yes, because she said she is going to give them the opportunity to call witnesses again after hearing what this new information is. Now, it wasn't clear to me whether that means the new information they get from the timing during the Commonwealth's case in chief, that they'll be able to recall witnesses in their case in chief. So I don't know. Some of that timing was confusing. If the defense thinks it's necessary, I think they should definitely ask for it. I think this was the end. Let's hear the end here.
These circumstances, a limited rebuttal, and we can define the scope after we hear the testimony of Akers.
So she's got her thumb on the scales a lot. She's made some, I think she's made some, she's had some good days. Bev's has had some good days if we're going day by day, witness by witness. But yikes. Yeah, Peter is pissed about Bev. I mean, I'm pissed about Bev. I said infamously, maybe 2 weeks ago, I mean, maybe Bev's coming around a little bit. Maybe, I mean, she's making some fair rulings. She's letting Alan Jackson cross-examine Jennifer McCabe and reining Jen in. Fuck that. Fuck that. Bev's a piece of shit. Bev's a piece of shit. It's just, it's wild. It's wild. We're still on 11%. We are going to keep going until the wheels fall off. If you're wondering about my vertical format here, chat, thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around. It's a little bit clunky today, and I'm sorry about that. I had some internet issues. Wi-Fi isn't working, so I've had to live stream off my phone for today. And the draw of StreamYard on my, I just went to 10%. Excellent. The draw of StreamYard on my charging phone is just far too much. So we'll do a pared down live stream. Didn't turn out to be the mega epic recap that I'd hoped, and I'm so sorry about that. And I'm so sorry, Ms. What the fuck motion to screen, what the fuck granted, for all your hard work.
You submitted the death certificate on April 14th.
Not a thing because of my stupid internet, and I'm so sorry. But thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you do. What the fuck? Because I probably would have cancelled the stream. I would have had to. So thank you so much for giving us this. I love you. All right, just Scordi Bello. Let's fucking go. We pivot. We do. We ain't got no quit.
14th?
Correct.
Miss Shorty, are you what?
That you may
Did just walk himself into that shit?
Consider the time you
Just charge it and come back. It is charging colors. No, I can't come back. I mean, I could come back. We can come back and do part 2. That's a good idea. Colors, I didn't think of that. Shall we do that? Not yet. We'll go a little bit longer. What about, that's a great idea, colors. See, hive mind. How's about if we go we'll go until I'm on like 3%. I'll charge my phone for an hour. I'll schedule another live and we'll come back and we'll do it again till the wheels fall off. How about that? Yes. Thank you, colors. My brain doesn't work very well at the moment, and I appreciate you for suggesting that. Great idea. Great idea. And then someone asked me a question. I can't see it. It was something about, are you ever blue? I'm wearing blue. Yeah, I often have to drag myself. Like I've been having a little struggle lately with I think it's the overwhelm of this trial. Honestly, I've been struggling. I took yesterday off from live streaming to give myself a break because, like, I work every fucking day of my life. This doesn't feel like work, but it is still being switched on, right? So, yes, that's what we'll do. Sounds like a plan. Carry on. We're on 9%. We'll go to 3%. Fuck. Oh, yikes. What color my eyes are? Yeah, they're blue. Blue eyes. So I just got all vulnerable for no reason. Yes, blue eyes. Let's go, Scordi Bello.
Because I thought that was Proctor in the picture, wasn't it?
Were you informed or were you aware
Anyone?
that before you filed your death certificate, there was information in the investigation that police spoke to a first responder by the name of Timothy Nuttall?
Excellent, Nina.
That the defendant,
I'm going to allow it.
that the defendant said, I hit him. Were you aware of that
I became aware of it at some point.
See?
during your
Yeah.
90-day window?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Were you aware
Brennan.
that there was another first responder by the name of McLaughlin who provided information that the defendant said,
Ali and Bob are
Yeah, I
amazing.
knew
If
it.
you haven't seen I did a
You
chat with
aware of
Ali and
statements
Bob
made
from
by-
Defense
How's this helping?
Diaries about 6 months ago. Check it out. We talked Delphi. It was really good chat. So love Barb. Yes, Barb. 1010 Defense Diaries. Thank you, motion to screen. What the fuck?
You.
Well, 2 of Miss
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you were aware of all of the shit that we're trying to tell this jury proves guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You were aware of all that, Miss Medical
Still
Examiner.
came back with undetermined.
What the fuck's Brennan doing?
I don't know.
I
But
kept saying
thank you.
keep pushing it. Now he's trying to pretend like he meant to do that.
Thank
No
you.
chance in hell he meant to do that.
Thanks, Hank.
Thank you, Hank. Thank
Thanks,
you
Hank.
very much. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you for the gift.
Looping back, looping back, looping back.
Yes.
Were you aware of statements made by the defendant, well, to Miss McCabe, that she said, may have I hit him? Did I hit him?
Okay. It's super helpful to you. I don't know why he's complaining.
I don't either.
Are we the only ones that see how moronic Brennan's being right now? Look, they're like, dude, this is great.
What the hell is
Moronic.
it, man?
Wonderful.
Let him get that shit in, bro.
Yeah, keep it
All
going.
right. Like, this is super helpful. Come on.
Bro, let him get that shit in, bro.
Quit reading the binder. Yeah, that's
It's not coming in for the truth of evidence that was let in previously.
We got a lot
This
of
is
time.
not coming in for the truth of what's in the statements. It's coming in so
we get
the
it.
state of mind at the time of her report.
They're like, just say that because we don't mind this shit.
At the time of your death certificate that you filed,
Did you know I found
were
all
you
the tail
informed
light?
that a Jennifer McCabe had reported that the defendant said, did I hit him or could I have hit him multiple times? Objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow it.
I don't believe I knew about Miss McCabe.
That one doesn't
Did
matter.
you
That was did I?
learn that Ms. McCabe reported later that the defendant, while speaking to first responders, reported that she had hit him? Did you know that?
That, yeah, I was aware of that information later on.
wow.
Woo! See, they told me all the time she said I hit him. What they forgot to tell me, Brennan, thanks for pointing that out. What they didn't tell me is that she said, could I or did I?
I mean, none of that matters. If you're Alessi, you're asking one question, and it's in spite of
Right.
all that information that you had of Karen Reed claiming that either she hit him or I did hit him or could I have hit. In spite of all that, you still came back with undetermined.
Right. And I'm pretty sure
You saw no
I was,
evidence that there was a motor vehicle pedestrian strike.
it was irritating the shit out of me that he didn't ask because he asked the
Allie.
question. Like you're given information about what was found at the crime scene. Like she said, yeah. And I was like, why isn't he saying you knew that there were taillight found? You knew that they said that. I was wondering why the defense didn't
Pause
do
for a
that.
sec,
So,
please.
yes,
What the fuck?
Thank you.
Remember, Ali didn't watch the first trial, so she knew very little about it. It's like a lot of people whose spouses, partners, family members didn't watch the first trial. And now she is all in outrage. It's so cool. It's so cool. Hi, Kings. Good to see you. So we're on 8% battery. The plan is we're going to, in a little minute, because I don't want to curtail Ms. What the Fuck's efforts, nor the recap itself. So we are going to let's watch a little bit more. Let's watch a little bit more of Bob and Ali. Then I think we'll go out with SideBah instead of Chatty's Bay, because Chatty's Bay signifies the end of the end, and we're done here. We're done here. But we'll go out with SideBah, the Camp Shorty collaboration Free Karen Reed song. And then I'll charge the fuck out of my phone and we'll do it all again. Not even stressful. Chatty's Bay. And hi, Zach, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, Zach. You are an idiot, Zach. I'm reacting to Miss Shorty, reacting to Bob, reacting to AJ and Hank, reacting to Judge Beveridge. It's the inception of the reacts. Love. So much good content out there. I must pop into Defense Diaries and watch one of their days stream. I'm just very much a creature of habit. I've got my whole thing every day happening with Andrea Burkhart because she doesn't talk much. And but I'm gonna do some Defense Diaries this week, 100%, because this is gold. Love. Yes. Trial Channel says we're just going to have a long sidebar that turns into a lunch break. Lol. Exactly. Everyone can go and, I don't know, make some food, walk the dogs, and we'll come back. And I'll set the stream as soon as we get off air. So let's keep going with a little bit more of this till the wheels fall off, and then we'll put the wheels back on and keep going. Oh, LA, that's awesome. This is all What the Fuck's idea. She's the best producer a Shorty could ever have. I literally couldn't do this without you, Ms. What the Fuck. Thank you.
For this gift.
What a gift.
Were you aware of the
Ms. What the
investigation
fuck is
regarding
Correct.
alcohol consumption.
Yep, I knew that too.
Yes.
Were you aware that the police or Massachusetts State Police
Oh, I love you, LA. Thank you so much.
spoke to other witnesses about their observations that night?
Excellent, Jules. You need
About
to charge
their-
your phone
their
too.
observations?
Yikes.
Yes.
Were you aware of an interview
A meal
by
of
Trooper
food. Good
Bulhenik
point.
with firefighter Daniel Whitley on February 7, 2022?
I don't remember.
Were you aware that Mr. Whitley told the police that the defendant had expressed that she had gotten into an argument
Yep. Oh yeah, I knew that
with the
part.
defendant that night?
That was part of the information I was given. Yes.
Keep
Were you
going,
aware
Brennan.
of a report from first responder Anthony Flamate about statements made by the defendant to him?
I don't recall that particular first
Name.
responder. No.
Ask her if she knew about the taillight. Just ask her.
Were you aware of statements provided by Kerry Roberts to the police
This-
that
This is
the defendant had called her?
like it was good for the defense, but basically what Hank Brennan he was doing here was having a little concise, like a Cliff Notes version of his closing arguments. Like fuck, Andrea Burkhart was losing her fucking mind, but I think it all turned out for the best, right? As we'll get to see when Alessi comes up and just goes, despite all that. So yes, she was last time too,
Stating
Steve, right?
Kerry John is dead.
Yeah, I was given that information.
Questions of did I hit
Are
him?
we
Were you
being
aware of
thick
that?
here?
Yes.
Okay. That
Were you
works.
aware
Are we way off on this, or
No.
of information that
We are not off. I don't care what anyone else is saying. This is the stupidest thing I could ever see.
this is
troopers
like
had an
the gift that
opportunity
keeps
to
on
go
giving?
and speak to
Oh god, I gotta rewind it.
of information that
Oh boy.
troopers had an opportunity to go and speak to the defendant?
Yes.
I knew that. I knew
Were
all
you
that.
aware of the statements that she made to the troopers?
Not in detail.
I find it wild that people had informed her of these things. Maybe she watched the trial. I'm
Were
not
you
sure.
aware that
It
when they
was
spoke to
wild
her
to
on
me. I'm
January
like,
29th,
wait, she knew some of this stuff? Why? I don't understand
She
why the
informed
medical examiner knew
that she had a
some of
broken-
that stuff. I just think that was a general absorption. Oh,
tail light on her vehicle,
oh,
but did
yes.
not know how it happened?
Yes.
oh no. Are you there? Can you see me? I just had a problem with my internet. No shit. Maybe we should finish it. Maybe we should finish it. Let's finish it. I think maybe we need to end it. What the fuck? Yes. I just had a little thing about connecting to the internet, and I'm wondering whether that's an omen. Let's come back with Bob and Ali. Let's go with SideBah. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. I'm so sorry this is not ideal, and you're amazing for bearing with me. Streaming is dynamic, and we just go with the flow, right? We pivot. So let's go out with SideBah. Let me top up my internet, charge the phone, and have a wine. What time is it? 8:35 a.m. No, I won't have a wine. Yikes. Whole different stream. So the song we're going to go out with is a Camp Shorty collaboration. We wrote the lyrics together. We input the style into Suno, and we made it all on stream. If you're interested in seeing that process, it's there in my playlist from a few weeks ago. It's an absolute banger. And thank you so much for being here. Come back to the next one. We'll come back in an hour. All right. I love you all very much. Free Karen Reed, man. Free Karen Reed.
Reasonable doubt. Scream into silence. War in the courtroom. Verdict or violence. Your gavel tales and blasphemy. Mr. Jackson, ask it differently. Auntie Bev, we know your game. Hanky Brennan has no shame. The lies you thought were told in stealth. Corruption through the Commonwealth. SideBah, SideBah, pull up, bitch. SideBah, SideBah, which is which? Dream team got this, fuck this shit. 'Cause Karen Reed ain't got no the truth, they hide the proof. Don't say a word, remain aloof. Proctor with the sleight of